month or two ago, I released a video talking about the Ghost of Tsushima sequel. Shameless plug, go check it out. It's somewhere on the screen here, just click it. In the video, I started talking about the ending of Ghost of Tsushima. So if you haven't played the game, this is your spoiler warning. 3, 2, 1, spoilers inbound! I wanted to take the chance and elaborate on something I had said in my previous video, and explain why I think killing our good old honor-bound Uncle Shimmura is the canon ending in the world of Ghost of Tsushima. Just to get this out of the way, at the time of making this video, there is no official confirmation on which ending is canon. Yes, Nate Fox did state that the true ending for Jin would be the one where he spares Shimmura.
So the true ending would be Jin leaving his uncle alive and saying, I don't care about your rules. I'm past that now. I'm something else. I'm the ghost.
And according to a Reddit user, killing Shimmura was Nate Fox's favorite ending, as Shimmura is Nate Fox's favorite character. To me, these are not canon confirmations. When he says that sparing Shimmura is the true ending, I think he's referring to how it would be his true ending, as in Nate Fox's. That's how I'm interpreting it anyway, so I could be way off. Now, for all intents and purposes, any ending Sucker Punch chooses to go with, no matter what, will work for the sequel. Throughout the game, we see Jin go through a change. He's sacrificing his way of the samurai and his code, which, let's be honest, it's Bushido, to push the Mongols away. He realizes that the way they've been fighting local threats will not work against these foreigners who have invaded their island, who are declaring war. So to combat this, Jin takes advice from Yuna, a thief who saves his life.
I promised my uncle I'd never break our code.
Then bend it. To save my family. And what's left of yours.
Jin's transformation is gradual and progressive. He goes from fighting an enemy head-on to using stealth, poisons, and other stealthy tactics to eliminate his targets. Jin even states that it's just for now, until I push the Mongols back. Then I'll get rid of it. This tells me that he still holds his code in high regard, and he will never fully abandon it. We'll come back to this point in a few. Jin's actions creates a sort of tension between him and his uncle. By the end of the game, Jin has fully embraced the ghost, and unintentionally rallied others to take up his cause. This was the exact thing Shimmura wanted to avoid. Since they saw Jin, a samurai, head of Clan Sakai, rise up against the Shogun's law and code, was to stop a farmer from rebelling and doing the same. Shimmura really makes a point of establishing order within Tsushima. In his point of view, Jin has ignited a spark of chaos through rebellion. Now, on one hand, I do see Shimmura's point, to a certain extent. Jin rallied farmers, rebels, even bandits and pirates to stand up and fight back. Was to stop them from rallying together in an attempt to overthrow the Jito, or even the Shogun. Because of Jin's choices as the ghost, Shimmura received orders from the Shogun to execute Jin. This is already hard for Shimmura, as Jin rejected his adoption and now he has to kill his nephew. So Shimmura is essentially losing Jin not once, not twice, but 3 times. How do I count 3, you ask? Well, first time was having Jin rejecting his adoption.
I am not your son. I am the ghost.
When Shimmura wanted to adopt Jin as his son, Jin decided, no, I need to be the ghost. I am not your son. Second was foregoing the way of the samurai and taking up the way of the ghost. And thirdly, Shimmura receiving orders to kill his own nephew, his own family. Jin refuses to accept his fate quietly, and the two duel. Now, realistically, Jin would have turned himself in after he killed Kotun. The Shogun then probably would have allowed him to commit seppuku, or simply just made him a Ronin. For those saying, why would Jin turn himself in just to die? I would like to refer you to the 47 Ronin. Not that one. No, the real 47 Ronin. It's a true story of Well, the 47 Ronin, who went against the word of the Shogun to avenge their lord. Even though they were in the right and showed the biggest act of loyalty probably in human history, they still opposed the Shogun. However, they knew the consequences and were content with dying in honor. This is essentially the same thing that Jin goes through. He is well aware that what he's doing is dishonorable. He mentions it many times as he performs more dishonorable deeds. But he does everything for the greater good of the people and does what he has to in order to save his home. So it actually would have made more sense for Jin to turn himself in without needing to fight Shimmura. But then we probably wouldn't be talking about endings now, would we? No. Shimmura duels Jin in one of the most beautiful set pieces I've seen in an action game in a really long time. This is probably the best duel in, well, maybe not the best duel, but it's just a beautiful set piece. The tensions are high, it's well written, the actors portrayed each emotion very, very well. This is just a very beautifully well done set piece. Now, after you defeat your uncle, you're given a choice. Spare him or kill him with a warrior's death at his request.
Honor me with a warrior's death.
Now, in all honesty, I can see this going in either direction. Whether you spare him or kill him, both would work great for a sequel setting. Before I talk about my main point, I want to break down each ending a little bit. When you spare Shimmura, Jin states,
I have no honor. But I will not kill my family.
on the surface, this actually seems like it would be really good for a sequel setup. Jin is hunted by the Shogun and Shimmura's samurai, and by the end, we could have the big rematch. The problem I have with this is I feel it weakens the lesson Shimmura has been trying to teach Jin throughout the game.
You would stab the Chido in the back!
No, Sakai! Control yourself. We are not criminals, like this man here. A samurai never acts out of anger or fear. When we fight, we face our enemy head-on. When we take their life, we look them in the eye with courage and respect. This is what makes us samurai.
The big thing with Jin is that he acts out of emotion, which has been his biggest struggle even in the DLC.
I will never be like you. The way you lived was not my choice. And your death was not my fault.
He has a hard time letting go of the past, and he reacts based on his emotions rather than his instincts. While this does stay in line with how Jin has acted through the game, it doesn't allow him to grow much as a character. Another interesting point to bring up is that Shimmura is under direct orders to kill Jin. By sparing him, you've essentially sentenced him to Senpuku. I think Jin knows this, and at this point, Jin has grown enough as a character that to deny him an honorable death would just be cruel. Yeah, the Shogun could allow him to commit seppuku to regain his honor, but he could also just make Shimmura a Ronin, and Jin wouldn't want that for his uncle. I've seen some people say that they've interpreted this ending as Jin sending a message, like, yeah, I'm not who you say I am anymore. I'm my own thing. Let me go. And I can totally buy into that, but I don't think Jin was ready to fully abandon the way of the samurai. A code of honor like that isn't easily broken, especially when you've lived your entire life under that code. Like I stated earlier, Jin has rationalized his decision to become the ghost by bending his code, saying it was necessary for now, but once the Mongols were dealt with, it was back to normal. And this brings me to why I think the honorable death is the canon ending. Like I just said, Jin is still samurai to his core. We can see this when he writes a letter to Shimmura. He writes,
Uncle, forgive me for not facing you in person. The Khan's fleet has gathered at Port Izumi. His ships are loaded with poison that will devastate the Shogun's army. But when the next storm arrives, I plan to kill the Khan and sink his fleet. I ask that you join me. I hope we can meet again. If not as father and son, then as warriors who have walked different paths. Whatever you believe I've become, I will always be your family.
This really shows that Jin still has respect for his uncle. Right before you kill him too, Shimmura asks Jin for a warrior's death. And it is the honorable choice to allow him that. When you think about it too, this actually develops Jin's character more. Because by sparing Shimmura, he would be acting emotionally. But by killing him, Jin has finally put his emotions aside and started trusting his instincts. The way this could play into the sequel is Jin could start to have doubts on what he is starting to build. Sure, he's bringing the Sakai clan back as a fictional first ninja clan. Yeah, I'm still believing that's the case. We're rolling with it. But at what cost? When he realizes the fallacies of his code, he'll feel lost and helpless, unsure of what it meant to actually be samurai. Letting Shimmura live is a way for Jin to feel safe. He doesn't lose his last remaining family, and he still gets to operate as the Ghost, albeit on the run, but it's the safer option. Killing him has more weight to it. There's more at stake emotionally, and has more consequence to his actions, even if it was the right thing to do. Wow, that was a lot to unload. No matter what Sucker Punch decides to make canon, I'm sure the end product will be amazing. I just wanted to give my thoughts and personal opinion on why I think killing Shimmura is the canon ending. I'm sure this is gonna spark some type of discussion, so I want to hear from you. What did you do with Shimmura? Did you grant him an honorable death? Or did you spare him to let him live the rest of his life in shame? Put something in the comments and we'll have a nice discussion. Keep it civil. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. And if you want to see more of Ghost of Tsushima content and just samurai content in general, make sure you subscribe so you keep up to date with my current videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll check you guys next time.